And think about it from a sales standpoint. Say there's a new bar opening in your town and you're going in there. And I'd always say it like this, man, you might not always get the Happy Meal, but you might get the chicken nuggets, meaning that they might say, look, man, I'm going with Richie for the ATM. He's my guy. But Kevin, you do POS? Yeah, Kevin, you put the POS. We're going with company ABZ for the jukebox. So having that wide range of stuff you can offer is going to benefit you. But looking back on it, Richie, if I'm being objective and I'm just looking back on it, if I could do it all over again, or if 16-year-old Richie could do it all over again, I think I would have done, like Antonio was asking earlier, the point of sale systems and credit card processing. I think that is in 2023. I think credit card processing and POS systems are the best passive income opportunity of any business. And if there's something better, let me know in the comments. But Richie, what do you think? Somebody new getting into the game. Is this their best?
I agree. I agree with that. I'm gonna tell you why I didn't do it. I looked at credit cards early on when I was probably 17, 18 years old, got signed up under an ISO, and I didn't do it because back then it really wasn't as profitable. There wasn't cash discount. You didn't have cash discount back then. And it wasn't that great of a deal. And I also back in 2013 got involved in a POS play. And man, like that's before Square and all of these cloud-based systems, these iPad systems. And it was way harder, man. You were spending, one bar, a restaurant might have been like $10,000 plus in equipment. And it was big. It was complicated. We had to have a guy that was like an expert on his stuff on the team to help. And it was really hard to set up. And it was harder to fix. I mean, it's a whole nother game. Once again, going back to the idea that, is there a lot of competition these days? Sure. But in a lot of ways, all of this stuff's gotten so much easier. I mean, like even ATMs, like back then, we didn't have two-way communication with the ATMs. Like now we can, if we wanted to change something on ATM or update software, we had to physically go to every ATM back then. Now we do it all remotely. So like same thing with POS. POS at one time was a pain in the ass. Like it was really hard. And people are always like, well, if you're always telling people you should do credit cards, you start with credit cards. Why didn't you start with credit cards? I'm like, because what you're thinking of as credit cards and POS today is not what it was when I started. Like somebody getting in now is so freaking lucky that back then there was just 3 or 4 companies controlled POS in New Orleans because they had the dealerships, like the franchise for each. One guy had Posi Touch. Right. Yeah. Like one guy had Aloha. One guy had like Posi Touch. One guy had
made millions.
Micros. Yeah. And they controlled it. So if you wanted to say, if somebody was like, hey, I want a Micros, like you couldn't do it. They had to go through that guy. So it's all changed now.